If you've chosen the style of photorealism, you may be interested in working with a grid to help you draw exactly what you see in your photo onto a piece of paper. And because the photos are going to be smaller than the piece of paper, it's another way for you to be able to blow it up bigger and get it accurate. So the first thing you want to do is take your photo, get a printout just on regular printer paper. If you do a photo that's about a 4 by 6, 4 inch by 6 inches, then you'll be able to use a 2-inch grid on your final paper. If you do something bigger, mine's approximately a 8 by 10, so 7 by 11. Then you will use a 1.5-inch grid on here. So because I'm working with a bigger picture to begin with, I will be just increasing this another half as big. If my photo were smaller, like a 4 by 6, 4 by 7, then I could go with a 2-inch grid. So the first thing you do is you draw out your grid carefully on top of your printout. Measure, make sure you know where the inches are, get your line straight, use a ruler, make it look right, because you will only be as accurate as your grid allows you to be. So here's my 1-inch grid. And basically the part I want to draw is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches wide by 11 this way. So then I knew that to fit it onto a piece of paper that is, what size is this paper? It's a 12 by 18. I needed to go with a 1.5-inch grid, and that's because my original picture is anything near an 8 by 10 size, you need a 1.5-inch grid. Anything closer to a 4 by 6, you need a 2-inch grid. So then I create a grid that these are 1.5 inches on either side. Then, and I kind of keep track where my framing is here, I could do that. Sometimes it might help me to know where are the edges, which are here. And we're going to go up, and then we go all the way to the top, which I'm not thrilled about because I don't like this white gap there, but maybe I'll do something with that. Then, all I need to do is draw what's in each square. So for example, right here, I have this square. I can see that there's a little bit of a line down like that. Then I have kind of this weird, there's a very out of focus, it's a table right there, which actually cuts through there, and this line doesn't show. And then I have a curve here. So I've just drawn what was in there. Then I'm probably going to move on because they're similar. And it's kind of all I see in that one for now. I can always come back. I'm just roughing in my drawing. Now I'm on this one. I have the same, I think it's a wall there. And I don't worry too much about what it is. I'm just trying to get these. And I reference, like right here, I can see it comes down to about there. This comes down to here. And it makes it just a little less intimidating than me sitting here going, oh, I got to draw this cello, and I got to draw my son playing the cello, and I need to draw the cello case, and oh no, there's a pole there, and I don't even know what this stuff is over here. It looks like a table with something on it, and it could be intimidating. But when I know that all I have to do is draw what's in a square, I'm much more likely to be able to do that. So that's how you work with a grid. And if I ever get around to finishing this one, I might put another video on here right now. And you always want to reference things, like try to figure out how far are you from the edges. This line doesn't look right. See, I can see that's halfway point. So I think that's farther down a little bit. And then eventually, I will hopefully have a fairly accurate drawing that's about half again as large as this one. And if you use a 2-inch grid, it'll be twice as large. So that is how to draw with a grid. The other thing to be aware of then, once I draw it in, if there's grid lines in the way, I erase them, and then I can use whatever material I want. Now, since I'm working on a black, white, and gray photo, I might work with probably pencil to get the black, white, and gray. If you were doing photorealism with a color printout, then again, you draw the grid on it, but then you'd be working with a color material to get the different colors and the different values, lights and darks of the colors. So like I can see here's this great reflection on the cello, a shadow. So that's working with a grid.